In this video, we're going to check out the dimmer settings on your Pioneer EX in-dash receiver. Even though your particular in-dash receiver may have buttons on the side, or across the bottom like this one, the on-screen operation in this demonstration is identical for the following Pioneer EX models: AVH-500EX, AVH-501EX, AVH-600EX, AVH-601EX. One quick way to switch the dimmer on or off is to touch the hard key right here. On any source, this brings up the gears, the fast forward and rewind, or change your radio station presets in this case because we're on the AM/FM radio. We'll hit that button again. And over here on the left, we can switch the dimmer on or off. So by touching that, you can see that we switch the dimmer on and the head unit becomes much dimmer. We can touch that button again to bring it back. This sub-display will disappear if you stop touching it for just a few seconds, or you could hit the X over on the corner. There are automatic ways to switch the dimmer on and off as well, so let's take a couple of minutes to check that out. We'll go up here to the gears, and we want to go to the toolbox. And if we scroll down a little here in the toolbox, we can find the dimmer settings. But you can see here that the dimmer settings are grayed out, so we'll need to fix that, and we can fix that by engaging the parking brake. So there, I've engaged the parking brake, and now you can see the dimmer settings are available. So we'll open that window. And on the top here is our dimmer trigger, and right now you can see it's set up for time. So let's open that window. And we have three different ways that we can trigger the dimmer to go on or off. The first one is auto. We'll select that one. Auto means that when I switch the vehicle's headlights on or off, the dash lights will dim, and so will the lights on the in-dash receiver right here. Now that is based on installation, and the installation has to include the orange wire with the white stripe on the back of the in-dash receiver here being installed directly into the illumination wire in the dash of the vehicle, so that when you switch the headlights on, when the dash lights dim, the lights on the in-dash receiver can also dim. Not every vehicle has a illumination wire that's easily accessible in the dash, and so you don't have to switch it that way. The next thing we'll look at is the manual switch right here. And I can go to my day and night setting and touch this whenever I want to switch the dimmer on or switch the dimmer back off, and you can see the brightness of the in-dash receiver is changing. Now this is in the system settings, and if I put a star right beside that gold star, that'll put that automatically into my favorites. Now I'm going to hit the X up here, and whenever I want, I can touch the gears. That takes me directly to my favorites, and there you can see my day and night settings for the dimmer are right there. Of course, I have that available as well on the sub-display for all the sources. The last way that we can switch the dimmer on or off is through the dimmer timer. So let's go take a look at the timer here. We're going to hit the gears, then the toolbox, and we'll scroll down to the dimmer. And of course, my parking brake is still engaged, so I can get to the dimmer settings, and you can see I have the dimmer duration or the dimmer timer down here. So I'm going to open up my trigger function and choose time. And now dimmer duration becomes available. So we'll select that. And here I can choose when the dimmer switches on. Right now that's set to 6 p.m. That's right here. And when the dimmer switches off, that's set to 6 a.m. right here. Now I can change those numbers. Right now we're on the p.m. number. I can make that a little earlier in the day if I want, or a little later in the day. So for right now, I'm going to switch my dimmer on. We'll say at 7 p.m. the dimmer will switch on, and it will switch off at, we'll say, 5:30 a.m. And from 7 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. the dimmer will be switched on, and from 5:30 a.m. through the rest of the day to 7 p.m. the dimmer will be switched off, and that is regardless of the position of the headlight switch on the vehicle. Now this is very useful, again, if your vehicle does not have an easily accessible illumination wire in the dash, or if you like to drive with your headlights on all the time, both day and night. The headlight switch will not affect this setting. So when you're done making your dimmer adjustments, you can hit the X to escape. One additional function that you may find useful here is the brightness and contrast settings that are available for the picture. So we will touch the gears, and we're going to go to the toolbox, and we're going to scroll down near the bottom here till we find the picture adjustment. But you can see picture adjustment is grayed out, so we'll need to engage the parking brake. When I engage the parking brake, picture adjustment becomes available to me. I have brightness, contrast, and my dimmer setting available to me. If I scroll down here, I also have the color temperature of the screen. So if I open the dimmer function here, I can change the overall brightness change of the dimmer operation by choosing this button here. So we can make the overall brightness of the radio a little lower or a little higher, and choose exactly how bright or how dim the in-dash receiver is before and after the dimmer setting is switched. So once you're done making your adjustments there, you can hit the X to escape.